It's new boot day. I got a pair of the Chris Farmer USD Sways, and today is going to be my first time trying them. I've never rode the Sway shell before. It's a historic shell that's been around forever, and tons of people skate it, but it doesn't really get that much coverage just because not too much has changed about it in recent years. I know they've made some updates to the sole plates, and that's pretty much it. I got the Chris Farmer version despite the new Checkmate version just coming out, because these were on sale for $250 and the Checkmates are also $250, but these came with a more premium crown liner and it came with 8 wheels, while the white Checkmate comes with Antirocker and 4 wheels. I am still riding Antirocker, but I have a couple Kizer Fluid 4 frames, so I didn't mind getting the extra wheels. I also have a brand new set of the Jeff Dahlness Eulogy wheels. I really like these. These are probably my favorite wheels. I also enjoy the Rollerblade Hydrogen wheels, but they don't last nearly as long as this. I just wish these came in 60mm instead of 58, but it's fine. It's only 2mm, not a huge difference. Every 60mm wheel ends up as 58 in a couple days anyway. In terms of the setup, obviously I got the Kizer Fluid 4s, I already mentioned those, and the wheels. I've got the Super Fluid Anti-Rockers and my Intuition Premium liner with the stock Intuition Premium shock absorber and my yellow Superteam hockey insole. This boot also comes with the 45 strap already installed, which is nice. I will probably be selling my crown liner because I can't even fit my foot in it, but it fits pretty good with this, at least trying it on. I also brought my Myfit second skin liner. It is my thinnest liner, and I know a lot of people run those in the Sways, so I've got those waiting over there if these happen to be too painful for me. Because while the Intuition liners are kind of thin, they're not the thinnest liner. The Myfit second skin is definitely thinner. With that being said, let's get these bad boys on and do some tricks. All right, on the first roll around, they feel very responsive. They're pretty tight. The shell is a lot stiffer than I expected. The actual boot is very stiff plastic. It reminds me of the T-neck shell, the white one. It's not ridiculously hard, but it's way harder than the Factions or the Omnis or the Omni V2s. I am getting a little bit of tightness right now around the widest part of my left foot. That does not feel good, but it doesn't feel painful yet. It just feels like it's something I gotta think about. The right foot feels perfect. I'd have to loosen up the 45 strap. I'm not getting any heel raise, so oh my God, no issue there. All right. No wax on it, but I have brand new sole plates, so it should slide well without wax, to be honest. That feels pretty good. All right, I'm gonna move the camera. Oh my God, brand new wheels. Always a little bit slippery at first until you kind of wear off the factory coating. Oh yeah, the tightness on the left foot might be an issue. Just did a few minutes riding around on the asphalt, get the wheels broken in. Oh my God, I can't believe I just missed that. Actually, I can believe it, because I often miss that. All right, let's get after it. Put my wrist guards on, get to work. A little scared on the first jump. Oh, there's a big ass wasp near my stuff. I feel like I'm in the back seat a little bit. I wonder why that is. See if we can adjust. That felt pretty good, but a little wobbly. All right, 3 more soles and we're moving on. I just dropped my massive container of coffee on the ground. God damn it. All right, we gotta wax this thing up a little bit. My wax is covered in coffee. Okay, one more nice sole grind now that it's all waxed up. Wow, that's fast. Let's do all our sole tricks and then we'll talk about it. feel like I'm skating really fast in these. Woo, that felt good. All right, so far these feel exactly like my T-necks. I honestly think I'm gonna really like these. There is a little bit of tightness on the left foot, but I believe it's from this part of the shell. That should stretch out over time. Honestly, just loosening up my 45 strap, oh yeah, already made a big difference. These are nice because they're almost the exact dimensions of my foot, which means I don't have a ton of room in the shell. I can tell I'm just about maxing it out, but they feel very tight. And I don't mean tight in a literal sense, I mean tight in a metaphorical sense, but also in a literal sense. I feel like I have to use my knees a little bit more to get the bend that I want because the shell and the cuff are stiffer than the type of boots that I usually skate. I usually skate ultra flexible boots like the standard Omni V2. These are way stiffer, but you know, this is the first session. They could get softer over time, especially in the sun. If the tightness that I'm feeling on the left foot gets worse or starts actually hurting or causing my foot to fall asleep, then I might have to give the Myfit second skins a try instead. But so far the Intuition Premiums with only laces around the cuff and a very thin insole feel pretty good. I'm also not using the cuff wrap. That would make the fit a little bit too tight when I tried it. Another thing with these is when I tighten the cuff itself more, it pushes in the top of the shell and makes it hurt. But since the shell is like the correct size for my foot, I don't actually have to crank down the cuff too much. The cuff can stay pretty loose and I still feel like I have plenty of support. The Intuition Premium liner does a good job of giving my ankles a lot of support, although the pain on my left foot is starting to mount a little bit. Yeah, that's just from the left side of the shell, right above one of the lace loops. Just a little bit tight right there. Loosen it up and it already feels better. I think I'm gonna do my switch top acid, then backside unity, backside farf, and right foot top sides. My left foot is starting to hurt, so let's get those switch top acids out of the way. All right, let's get it. Ah, too far in the back. That felt good, nice and balanced. All right, so far, I really like the way these feel on groove tricks. The shape of the backslide groove is the exact same shape as my Kizer Fluid 4 groove. It's literally like a perfect match. I can just feel myself sitting down into the back royale so much easier. It does feel like there's a little bit more resistance just because of how I'm sitting into the groove right where it's chambered. It like couldn't be more perfect. Obviously, it makes sense that the Kizer Fluid 4s fit perfectly with the sways since they come with them, but wow, it feels nice. The pain in my left foot hasn't gotten any worse. It's gotten a little bit better, but no issue so far. Let's do some topstills. I'm leaning far off. I need to stay up on top of it. We can do better, I think. That was a slow fall. 3 more tries, that's it. Damn it. Not today. Just do some switch-ups. Oh my God. 3 more tries, then we're moving on. All right, now let's do back 5 to sole and back unity to sole. I'm getting tired though. Those feel good. I was thinking about going for this triple switch up, but nah. Woo! I can do it better. That might be the best session I've ever had on my first try trying a boot. First try trying a boot. I said that weird, but I'm gonna catch my breath and then we'll talk about it. All right, first things first. I'm gonna run through the actual setup real quick, just to remind you guys. Kizer Fluid 4 frames, Jeff Dollinus Eulogy wheels, Kizer Super Fluid 45mm anti-rockers, Intuition premium liner with no cuff wrap, no laces besides laces in the cuff. I have a yellow Superteam hockey insole, and I'm using the stock shock absorber that comes with the Intuition Premium. These are the Chris Farmer Sway Pro models, and they come with the 45 strap and the new sole plate. It's not really new, but the latest sole plate for the USD Sway. And I can't believe how stiff these shells are. Maybe it's because it's my first session on them, but they are probably my stiffest shell besides my big wheel setup, my Rollerblade twisters. But that means when I use the 45 strap to lock down my foot doesn't move at all. There's no flex, no slop. Power transfer is incredible. So I can leave the cuff pretty loose. I honestly run the cuff at a setting that's almost doing nothing. But because the boot is so stiff and the 45 strap locks me down so nicely, I have tons of support on my foot. So I can use the cuff tightness to dial in how much lateral flex I want. If I run this cuff all the way tight, I have less flex than I would on most big wheel setups. Like, this is just insanely stiff. But the more you loosen up the cuff, the more play you get back and forth. The cuff itself is still not very flexible, but it's flexible enough. And I actually like running my cuffs a little bit looser. The contrary to that is the Faction plastic cuff, which is very soft, but it's so soft that it doesn't really do anything unless you crank it down all the way. And then when you crank it down all the way, it pushes in the top of the shell and creates a pressure point for me on the top of my foot. But with the USD Sway, I can damn near leave the cuff buckle undone and just tighten up my liner cuff a lot and tighten up the 45 strap, and I have more than enough support to do all my tricks. This feels like my fastest setup in terms of how the boot configuration contributes to me keeping speed and gaining speed. I will say that I absolutely cooked my front wheel. This ground is super tough on wheels, but I must have been dragging because this is a raised heel boot and I'm using a shock absorber. So I'm very on my toes. So I think I'm just putting way too much pressure down on my toes because my right foot is my push-off foot, and I don't know if you guys can see, but that's one session. These were brand new wheels. I've never used a wheel up that quickly. So I may have to consciously adjust my stride because the left foot has barely any wear. Has a little bit of wear, but nothing like the right foot, which is the one I push off on. In terms of foot pain, I had a little bit of tightness on my left foot right around the bridge right here. But as the session went on, it actually hurt less and less. First 10-15 minutes, it was hurting quite a bit. It was like pushing in there. The pain, it wasn't debilitating. It wasn't causing my feet to fall asleep. It was just annoying. It felt like it was gonna get worse, but then it never got worse and it got better. So far, I'm really happy with these. I hope I got a good shot of them before I scuff them up, because they will never look clean again. So today was my first session in my new USD Sway Farmer Pro models. I don't like calling the first video my first impressions, because every time I skate a boot for the first time, I love it because of the shiny new boot feeling. For the most part, sometimes I hate it. But my next session will be my real first impressions, where you guys will get more of a critical look. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed these first impressions. Peace out. Oh yeah, and these things are switch up machines. The groove, oh my God, everything just moves from one trick to another. I have never done my switch ups easier than today. And I was on a new boot. Once I get comfortable with this boot, the switch ups are gonna be nonsensically easy. I don't know if that was a good way to put it, but whatever. Peace out.